Your greatest blessing might be hidden right behind your greatest fear. And today, we're going to bravely step into that space together, to uncover a life of true freedom and purpose that God has designed just for you. We often find ourselves living lives that feel slightly off-key, performing roles we were never truly cast for, all because of the invisible chains of expectation and the whispers of fear. Imagine for a moment a life where every step you take, every word you speak, every decision you make is a genuine reflection of who you are, deeply rooted in your God-given identity. This isn't some distant dream. It's a promise, a calling that beckons us to cast aside the masks we've worn for far too long and embrace the magnificent, authentic self that lies beneath. We juggle the pressures of shoulds and musts, often molded by the opinions of others or the perceived demands of society, rather than by the quiet, unwavering truth of our own hearts and God's wisdom. This constant striving for external validation, this relentless effort to fit into molds that pinch and constrain, leaves us exhausted, unfulfilled, and disconnected from the very source of our strength. It's a journey many of us are on, perhaps without even fully realizing it. A journey away from our true selves, guided by a compass that points everywhere but inward. But what if I told you that the path to profound peace and exhilarating purpose begins not by adding more to your life, but by shedding what no longer serves you, by bravely choosing to be undeniably, unapologetically you? This is the starting line of a new chapter, a divine invitation to reclaim your story. We often diagnose our spiritual fatigue as a lack of effort, when in reality, it's a symptom of misdirection. We're pouring our energy into maintaining facades, trying to earn approval that was freely given from the moment we were knit together. Think of Sarah, a gifted artist who spent years in a corporate job, believing it was the responsible path, the one that would gain her family's respect. Every brushstroke she yearned to make was overshadowed by spreadsheets and meetings, leaving her soul parched. She believed she needed to be a certain kind of successful, a certain kind of put together to be worthy. This internal conflict creates a spiritual tax, draining our reserves and dimming our light. It's a subtle form of self-abandonment, where we prioritize external peace over our internal truth. But here's the transformative whisper. God doesn't call us to be perfect copies of someone else's ideal. He calls us to be perfectly and uniquely ourselves, flaws and all. The first step towards transformation isn't an outward leap, but an inward look, a courageous decision to acknowledge where we've been living out of alignment. It's the realization that true strength isn't about conforming, but about owning the masterpiece God is creating within you. This isn't about being selfish. It's about recognizing the divine spark within that yearns for authentic expression. Are you ready to stop editing your soul for others and start living the unscripted life God intended? If this message resonates, and you're ready to explore what it truly means to live authentically, consider joining our growing community of truth seekers. Share your journey in the comments below. Your story might be the very light someone else needs to see. One of the most formidable obstacles we face on this path to authenticity is the paralyzing fear of judgment. We dread the raised eyebrows, the whispered criticisms, the possibility of being misunderstood, or worse, rejected. This fear, often deeply ingrained from childhood experiences or societal pressures, causes us to self-censor, to dim our light, and to walk on eggshells around our own truths. It's like trying to navigate a bustling city street blindfolded, constantly bumping into invisible walls of apprehension. Consider Michael, a talented musician who, for decades, only played his original compositions in the privacy of his attic, terrified of what his conservative family and friends might think of his unconventional sound. He held a steady, respectable job, but his soul longed for the stage, for the freedom of his melodies to soar. The principle for overcoming this is surprisingly simple, yet profoundly challenging. Prioritize God's approval over human applause. The Bible reminds us in Galatians 1:10, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." This isn't an invitation to arrogance, but to liberation. It's an understanding that your true worth is not determined by the ever-shifting sands of public opinion, but by the immutable, unconditional love of your Creator. When Michael finally dared to share his music at a small community event, not only did he find unexpected support, but he also discovered a profound sense of peace that had eluded him for years. The fear of judgment is a mirage. It appears formidable, but it dissipates when you bravely step through it, anchored in the truth of who you are in Christ. Beyond external judgment, another insidious obstacle is the fear of our own potential, the self-imposed limitations that keep us tethered to what's familiar and safe. We tell ourselves stories of, "I can't," "I'm not ready," or "what if I fail?" This fear of the unknown, of stepping outside our comfort zone, often masquerades as prudence or humility. It's like a bird with strong wings, choosing to walk instead of fly, convinced that the ground is safer than the limitless sky. Sarah, our artist, knew she wanted to paint professionally, but the thought of leaving her corporate job, of facing the instability of a creative career, felt like stepping off a cliff. She had created a golden cage for herself, comfortable but confining. Here's the surprising revelation. Your comfort zone is often the biggest barrier to your divine destiny. It's not a safe haven. It's a self-constructed prison that keeps you from experiencing the fullness of God's plan. The Bible is filled with examples of individuals called to step into the uncomfortable, to leave the familiar behind, from Abraham leaving Ur to Moses confronting Pharaoh. Their greatest breakthroughs came not within the confines of their known world, but in the wilderness of uncertainty, guided by faith. The application is simple. Take one small, uncomfortable step today towards what truly ignites your soul. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It could be speaking your truth in a difficult conversation, pursuing a long-dormant passion, or simply saying no to something that drains you. Remember, God doesn't equip the called, He calls the equipped. You already possess the courage and the gifts. What small, brave step will you take to prove your comfort zone wrong? The true turning point in our spiritual journey towards authenticity comes when we shift our focus from what we lack to what we've been given. Our inherent worth and unique design, stamped with divine approval. This isn't about self-improvement, as much as it is about self-discovery, peeling back the layers of expectation and fear to reveal the masterpiece God created. This powerful shift happened for David, who had always felt inadequate compared to his siblings, pursuing a career in law because it was deemed prestigious, despite his heart yearning for community work. He was constantly striving, yet always feeling empty. His spiritual turning point came during a quiet moment of reflection, recognizing the profound truth in Psalm 139:14. "I praise you, because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well." This isn't just a verse, it's a foundational truth for your very existence. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are wonderfully made, intricately designed with a specific purpose. This truth liberates us from the need to prove our worth. It transforms our interior landscape from a battleground of self-doubt to a sanctuary of self-acceptance. When David truly internalized this, he realized his worth wasn't tied to his profession or external accolades, but to his identity as a beloved child of God. This profound inner transformation is the bedrock of authentic living. It's not about finding yourself, but about remembering who you are, shedding the illusions, and embracing the divine blueprint. With this newfound understanding, a new perspective emerges, one that views life not as a series of hurdles to overcome, but as an unfolding journey of divine discovery. David, now rooted in his true identity, recognized that his legal background wasn't a mistake, but a tool. He transitioned from corporate law to advocating for underprivileged communities, using his legal skills to fight for justice. a path that aligned perfectly with his compassionate heart. His new perspective wasn't about abandoning his past, but integrating it into a more authentic future. This transformation isn't just personal, it radiates outward. When we live authentically, we give others permission to do the same. It's a powerful testimony to the liberating power of God's truth. Think of Esther, who, armed with courage and a deep sense of her purpose, stepped into a dangerous situation to save her people. Not by conforming, but by boldly living out her calling. Her authenticity was her strength, not a weakness. This expansive application means that your unique voice, your specific gifts, your distinct personality are not just for your own benefit. They are meant to inspire, to uplift, and to serve the world in ways only you can. Your authentic self is a powerful testimony, a living sermon that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. It's a beacon, guiding others towards their own truth, illuminating the path by simply being. So, how do we begin this journey of living authentically, day by day? The first practical step is to cultivate radical self-awareness. Spend time in quiet reflection, asking yourself, what truly brings me joy? What values do I hold dear, regardless of external pressures? What fears are holding me back? This isn't navel-gazing. It's spiritual discernment, aligning your internal compass with God's design. The second step is courageous action. However small, if fear of judgment is your obstacle, practice speaking your truth in low-stakes situations. If self-imposed limitations bind you, take one small, calculated risk towards a long-held dream. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. The third step is consistent commitment. Authenticity isn't a destination. It's a daily practice, a continuous choice to show up as your true self, even when it feels uncomfortable. This renewed vision for your life isn't about chasing fleeting happiness. It's about cultivating deep, abiding peace that comes from alignment with your divine purpose. It's about building a life that feels like home, a sanctuary built on the bedrock of your true identity. This is an invitation, not a command. An invitation to shed the weights that keep you from soaring, to embrace the freedom that comes from living fully and unapologetically as the person God created you to be. It's a call to courage, a whisper of hope, and a promise of profound fulfillment. As we bring this journey to a close, remember that the path to authentic living is not a straight line, but a beautiful, winding journey of discovery, growth, and grace. There will be moments of doubt, moments of fear, and times when the old habits of people-pleasing or self-limitation try to creep back in. But now, you have the tools, the perspective, and the divine truth to guide you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, equipped with everything you need to live a life that truly inspires, not just others, but yourself. Imagine the future you can build, not on the shifting sands of external validation, but on the solid foundation of your God-given identity. A future where your passions are pursued, your voice is heard, and your unique light shines brightly, illuminating the path for others. This isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about fulfilling your divine assignment, being the person God intended you to be for the sake of His kingdom and the world around you. So, as you step forward from this moment, consider this. What is one small, authentic choice you can make today that will bring you closer to the person God created you to be? Let that be your anchor. Dare to live unscripted. If this message has ignited a spark within you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your struggles, or your triumphs in the comments below. We're building a community of courageous souls, and your voice is an invaluable part of it. Let's continue this conversation, growing stronger and more authentic together, one brave step at a time.